Hello everyone, my name is Mystic. Today's episode is going to be, well, a part of the new series, which I've just recently started on my channel. You might have seen this series done by a few other YouTubers, but I'm going to do my own original take on it, which, it's going to be pretty cool. I have a bunch of ideas for this series, so please leave a like and drop a comment if you actually do like this series. It really helps out my channel. Not a lot of you guys are subscribed, and I have something special planned for my 100 subscribers special. So, be looking forward for that. And without further ado, let's get into the versus match. So, this scenario is going to be Chi-Chi versus Videl, and takes place during the tail beginning of the Buu Saga, right after Videl tells them about the tournament. Gohan and Goten are off training on their own, which allows Chi-Chi a moment alone with Videl. She calls her over, and while Videl is initially hesitant to go over to Gohan's house by herself, with only Chi-Chi present, she eventually relents. Once she arrives, she finds Chi-Chi on her own at the doorstep, in her old outfit. While Videl doesn't know this, Chi-Chi looks determined. By this point, Videl's crush on Gohan had become pretty apparent to everyone but Gohan himself, and probably Goten. But Videl was keeping it pretty much secret from everyone, but Chi-Chi knew. So she decided to test Videl. I had to fight my own husband to get his hand in marriage. But obviously you'd be no match for Gohan. So I've decided to fight you myself. Prove your strength to me, and you can be worthy of Gohan. Chi-Chi offers a fight, but Videl initially refuses. Not because she thinks she'll lose, but because she thinks it's ridiculous that Chi-Chi would even consider a fight. She's still denying her feelings for Gohan by this point. But eventually, she relents, and the fight between Chi-Chi and Videl starts. At first, neither fighter goes all out. This is because Chi-Chi is testing Videl's strength, while Videl thinks she's much too strong for Chi-Chi, and decides only to use a little bit of her power. Although Videl before had been quite weak, with her training with Gohan, she'd become much stronger, learning the fundamentals of Ki and even developing her own style with Ki. Her love for Gohan actually made the training more effective, as she paid lots of attention to what he said. So, she keeps on holding back against Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi, of course, has none of this, and goads Videl into using more of her power. Eventually, she strikes a nerve. If you can only muster up this amount of power, you'll never be able to stack up to Gohan. He'd never like a weakling like you. Videl is enraged by this and decides to go all out against Chi-Chi, throwing many powerful punches and kicks, even nearly breaking Chi-Chi's arm. This is when Chi-Chi decides to reveal more of her own power, and Videl is actually quite surprised. Chi-Chi's quite strong, even pushing back against Videl with her own ki-based attacks. She had developed her own fighting style in the years since she'd met Goku. She had basically learned everything on her own until she married Goku, in which case she trained a little bit with him until she became pregnant. After that, a few things happened, but you'll see that later in the fight. Videl manages to get a few good hits in on Chi-Chi, who starts to smile and understand why Goku loves fighting so much. She loves her husband and kids so much, but she never exactly understood their love for fighting. She always wanted her kids to be functioning members of society, but she never really thought of what they want. Goten had already shown himself to be a great fighter, In training, he'd gone Super Saiyan at the age of only around 3. But Chi-Chi hadn't really allowed him to develop his own style, because she didn't really train him all that well. She'd reconsider this. Meanwhile, Videl is reconsidering everything about Chi-Chi right now. Even though she hadn't openly trained, Videl recognized how strong Chi-Chi is inherently. Being the daughter of the Ox King, she already had massive amounts of strength. So she was to be respected and, well, feared. As the fight continued on, Chi-Chi decided that she might as well pull out her trump card. A technique that Goku had taught her long ago, the Kaio-ken. Chi-Chi bursts her ki as she uses Kaio-ken ×2, which isn't the maximum of her power, but is as far as she'll go for this fight. She knows that any other level of Kaio-ken would be too much for Videl, and she's only really testing her, well, bravery. Videl, with her new sense of ki, can sort of sense how powerful Chi-Chi's become, and is basically disheartened. She almost wants to give up the fight, but then she thinks about Gohan, the guy who had taken her in, taught her how to fly. She really likes him. She even thinks about potentially spending a life with him. So she pushes on, continuing the fight. Her drive is pushing her to heights she'd never seen before. She starts landing more blows, even against Kaio-ken Chi-Chi, and Chi-Chi is excited. This fight not only taught Videl to be more confident in her own abilities, and even gave her the motivation to be strong for Gohan, it taught Chi-Chi that Goku's fighting, well, it can be fun too. They decide to end it with one final beam clash. Chi-Chi starts to charge up her famous Kamehameha. Goku had taught her the Kamehameha many years ago when they first got married. It had been her first time using it, since she wasn't really an active fighter. Videl decided to use the Masenko, which Gohan had taught her during their training, since it was really his own technique. They both released their beams, and they clashed in the middle. Chi-Chi's Kamehameha started to gain more ground, as she was technically more powerful. Videl started to think back on all their training moments. Gohan telling her that short hair works better for flying. Immediately, her power bursted, with the Masenko overtaking the Kamehameha and defeating Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi's knocked out on the ground, and when she wakes up, she sees Videl standing over her, reaching a hand out. Videl thanks Chi-Chi for the fight, and says that she'd be a very good girlfriend for Gohan. She also tells Chi-Chi not to tell Gohan that she has a crush on him, and Chi-Chi obviously agrees. As the fight ends and the sunset glows, Chi-Chi and Videl have become better persons and better lovers. And that's where the fight and this scenario is going to end. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and join my Discord server. Your what-if suggestions and art might be featured on this channel if you are to join the server. So please be sure to join it, where you get an opportunity to talk to me and my friends. Anyways, that's all for this video. So, bye-bye.